Hi everyone, Nick here and welcome to another Gran Turismo Sport video. Today we're doing the fourth race in the 2018 off-season exhibition season 1 of the Manufacturers series. We missed race 3 because of other commitments, so this is actually only our third race, so we know this is still going to count, and points wise we're not doing amazingly in the Manufacturers series here, so it's back into the trusty old Porsche 911 to try and get some points around our home track of Nürburgring. Now, traditionally, I don't do particularly well around this circuit. I've had a couple of pole positions in FIA races before, but they've never really been converted into good results. So I was hopeful that we could qualify well here and then kind of do a bit better. So this is our first flying lap on the soft tyres, so we're qualifying on a softer compound of the two. Makes sense, it's qualifying of course. Turn 1, not too shabby. We go through this slow sector here at the start of the lap. Don't really like it because it's just a bit, I know, just a bit crap really. But we get in there, we turn in nice and tight there. Go through the right hand side. I know you can go a bit flatter through there, but I tend not to, just to make sure that I don't spin out or lose traction or anything like that. But we've gone through the first sector, not too bad. Then we're back into sector 2, going through the left, then the right. Not too bad through the right hander again there. So heading down to the hairpin, and you can see that the times are now appearing down in the bottom left, and people are dipping into 159s. Now I was doing faster than that in practice, so I was thinking, okay, we might be on or around the pace here. And as you can see there, we are 3/10 up, so that's very, very good. Go through there, not too bad. Not sure we went exactly flat, but as flat as we could go. Better to lift off slightly than go into gravel anyway. Get a decent run onto the back straight. And accelerate through there. And we've lost a little bit of time compared to pole position. We're now just under, well, half a tenth, something like that. Into the chicane. Brake a little bit earlier than I could have done for a sort of optimal, but again I didn't really want to mess the lap up and just make sure I actually get it and then try and tack on the next lap. Bit of a slide there, don't really bother the apex, so that's probably a little bit of time there. So that last sector probably not as good as it could have been. Across the line it's a 158.2, which is at that point 33 thousandths off of pole. Now a couple more people did actually improve on that as well, so we ended up being just over 2/10 off of pole. But in 4th place, I mean, again, that's absolutely fine. No problems with that. And looking forward to potentially getting a decent result from there, which, as you can see by our total of 472 points in the championship so far, kind of needed. Okay then, let's get down to the grid and see who we're up against. Yet another standing start for us here, so let's see how that goes. On pole position we've got Buckhinder in the Porsche. Second place we've got a BMW from Parkour from Spain. Third place we've got another Porsche, Perdo truck driver from Ireland. We're there in 4th place in the Spotify 911, looking great as always. 5th place we've got Debo from the UK in the Lexus. 6th is Daytuga in the Aston Martin from France. Another Aston Martin behind, Pillhead 91, he's from Switzerland. 8th place we've got another Porsche, it's GT Pulse from France. 9th is another Porsche, it's Janaman from Holland. 10th we've got Foxy Fergie in the Mitsubishi Lancer, he's from the UK as well. We've got McLaren, appropriately named Mac. 12th is Martin in the Lexus from the Czech Republic. 13th we've got Aceman in the GTR from the UK. 14th we've got Rokomo from the Czech Republic in a stripeless Dodge Viper, don't like that. We've got Ford GT, Frézeroc from France in 15th. 16th we've got another Porsche, is Afodarko in 16th. 17th we've got Badger off in the Renault. And 18th is Lumpy in the Mercedes-Benz. So only 18 runners and riders here. Not sure where the other 2 people have gone. But yeah, standing start. We're in 4th place. We've got the inside line as well, if that might help. Obviously a very, very sharp turn 1 here, so we have to make sure we do it right. So we're going to pop the traction control on, put the brakes on, rev it up, and away we go. We get a much better getaway off the line than 2nd and 3rd. 2nd comes across to block 3rd off, which leaves us a clear path. So we try to brake for the first corner. Yeah, that went well, didn't it? Yeah, completely missed the braking point. It looks like other people had issues as well, because Buckhinder, who was on pole, is now 17th, so I'm not really sure what happened there. But yeah, we're now 18th and last with damage to our suspension and aero. Amazing start. So it's now very, very quickly gone from, you know, being 2nd going into turn 1 to a recovery drive. So let's see how we can do. Well, that's position number 1 taken pretty much straight away. Not really sure what Day 2 was doing there. So we go through that. So we're up to 17th. Aceman's had a bit of a mare through the left-right chicane there. So we're going to see what we can do down into the hairpin. But it looks like that Von Parkour has decided to slow down as well. So I think he was 2nd on the grid. So we're now up to 16th. And let's see what we can do up the hill. So again, Debo has lifted off and let us through there. Not really sure what's going on there, but another place gained. Excellent stuff. And we're now into 14th place and gaining on Aceman ahead of us. We brake very conservatively in there because Aceman was, they thought was his own, but he was blocking our braking marker, so I didn't know where exactly to brake, so I didn't want to smash into the back of him. And we get a much better exit out of that corner there, but unfortunately, because this straight is going to go right, we don't really get much of a room to go up the outside. So we're on the outside going into the chicane, a bit wary of braking too late after the turn 1 nonsense. And then you've got all sorts going on here. Someone went wide, Aceman backs off, there's a ghosting car there. Not really sure what's going on here, but we've managed to gain a couple of places and we're now in 12th. And we're behind the former pole sitter, Buckhinder, looking at the inside turn 1. Now, unsurprisingly, I'm going to be a bit cautious here because of what happened before. And we get a nudge, or 2 nudges from behind there, which actually gives us rear aero damage, which is very much appreciated. Again, cars behind probably should be, you know, a bit cautious, you know, making sure that they do that, but I don't think Perdo is in a cautious mood as he bumps him off and gets himself a 3-second penalty. Keep an eye on him, he might pop up again later in the race. Anyway, 12th position, and you can see there's a bit of a train up ahead. You've got 4 cars, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th, but then the rest of the pack has made a bit of a breakaway. And I find this is one of the things that happens in these races. If you get towards the back, you tend to get bunched up with people battling, and then the top places pull away. So if you're in this back portion and you end up held up, then you're a bit stuck. So we're here. Perdo doesn't really give us much room on the outside there, so we have to lift off. We get a bit of a slide on there, another bit of a slide on there, and as a result, Badger just manages to go past us because we're going very slowly. So we've now lost a place and we're down to 13th. So we'll follow him round here. We're not really gaining on him enough. We're not gaining on him slightly, but not enough to actually trouble him into the chicane. It'd have to be a hell of a dive bomb to get past. Absolute chaos going up ahead. I mean, we've got all sorts, and I think I'm a bit distracted by that when I get on the power too early. But this is exactly what I meant earlier on. These cars up ahead are just really going to hold us up, and you can see we're getting a bit sloppy. We're focusing on people ahead rather than on our own race, and it's just costing us so much time. I mean, a 203 is just nothing. I mean, you can see the fastest lap of the race is a 158.6, and while I'm not saying I would be doing fastest laps, I'd hope to be sub 2 minutes at this stage, especially on soft tyres. I've got to kind of make them count. And when you just look up ahead, I mean, you're not going to get through that cleanly. I mean, as soon as you try and make an overtake on someone else is going to go up for the gaps, someone's going to bump you. It's just, you see there Mac gets into a bit of trouble there and goes off to the right hand side and we gain that position. But it's just not really going to work here. So I'm already thinking at this point, unless something very unexpected happens, we're going to pit at the end of this lap and we're going to come in for medium tyres and try and run them to the end of the race. 6 laps on those, probably not going to be much fun, especially as I'm sure other people have started on mediums. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We've got the inside line for Badger here. We leave him the space on the outside because we're nice like that. Lift off slightly to make sure we'll make the turn, and we go through there much nicer than we did the previous lap. Much more smart, which is good. And we come up here. Ropimo has a bit of a slide in the Viper. Probably calmer for not having stripes. And we get a decent-ish exit out of there. We are slowly closing on him, but again, too far back to actually do anything about it, unless we want a real big lunge. And as we're coming in, there's not really much point. We don't really move left there for the overtake, more as a potential avoiding action. But those guys are all going through for another lap, and we are coming into the pits. And we're going to, as I said earlier, whack on some lovely medium fresh tyres and see how far we can go. Now, we're not going to refuel. At that point, I wasn't planning on repairing my car because it didn't feel like it was actually really hurting me. But for some reason, I forgot to press the Do Not Repair button. I think I must have been thinking that you have to say, I want to repair, not I don't want to repair. And I realised I made the mistake and quickly abort that because I was really keen not to make too much of a hash of my outlap, to make sure I got out into some clear air. And at this point I'm thinking, yes, that's great, but you can see there's an arrow on the radar, and as we go through there, Debo sees that door and goes for it. Fair enough, really. Not really sure why I get an SR down arrow there, because I haven't really done anything wrong. But yeah, Debo has jumped us there. We're a bit sloppy there, I think, because I was just a bit annoyed. And yeah, that hasn't gone amazingly well. But fast forward till the end of lap 5, you can see we picked up a couple of really sloppy penalties for corner cuts. And people have pitted. Aceman has actually missed the pit entrance and whacked into the dividing wall, which is not the best move. And you can see we're actually temporarily up to 4th there as people are now pitting. It used to be a popular move to pit on that lap. And people are coming out of the pits on their fresh tyres. And we are now in 7th place. And the plan of jumping those guys who are battling it out after a couple of laps in, well, cleanish air has really worked. I mean, you can see our laps on the right hand side. We did a 159 and a 201. So that worked in terms of getting us forward. In terms of preventing the cars attacking from behind, that's going to be difficult. And you can see that Yanman gets a much better run out there. We're going to have to really let him through here because it's just worthless trying to actually defend. He goes around the outside. Good move from you there in his Porsche, and that is us down into 8th position. Now, given that we were 18th after about 10 seconds of this race, that is a decent result, or would be a decent result if we actually finished there. So we can already see we've got Foxy Fergie behind us as well, who is closing in on us down here. Again, we're very cautious under braking, and especially so as we nearly drive into the back of a Porsche ahead. We take a very wide line, and that lets Foxy Fergie through. But we've got a 3.9, or had a 3.9 second gap back to Badger, so it's all about defending that. And the guys behind were still battling it out, but were generally catching me. So I have a bit of a nightmare through there, get a foot on the gravel, come across there, and then Perdo behind thinks about the move into the left-hander but doesn't really go for it, then decides to go for it, gives me a bump as he goes, and I think he picks up a bit of a penalty. guessing probably for a corner cut on the inside. It's very easy to do there, unfortunately. So we're down to 10th, we've got Badger behind us, but as Pergo ahead of us has got 5.4 seconds of penalties, we're effectively ahead of him, so that's fine. He then, I think, tries to burn some off and brakes very early, not really giving us much room, and we get turned in on, so that's nice of him. And then going up here, going into the last corner, he's already got another 5 seconds of penalties, so he just decides to brake test us, which is, yeah, very sporting. And you can see bottom left hand corner, our car is absolutely wrecked. This is as good as we can do in terms of acceleration, so it's a good thing it's the last lap. But we crossed the line in 9th with our wrecked car, and yeah, top half of the field, given we were last, that could have been a lot worse. And you can see our door number was 19 as well. So we were expected to do pretty badly in that race, so I think that's a decent result. And that netted us 428 points for the championship, brings our total for the Manufacturer Series up to 900, which is, you know, not too bad. We can definitely improve on that though. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to like the video, or to subscribe to the channel, or leave us a comment on how you thought the race went, or how you're going in the Manufacturer Series. Until next time, goodbye.